And with that, I recognize Senator Schmitt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's good to say that. And yeah, I'm sorry I missed that, but you and I had a chance to talk a little bit about her in my office, and we share that very special bond of being dads of kids with special needs. My Stephen's 20 now, but it's the reason I do this, and the perspective, as you know, that you gain from it is life-changing, and I'm very grateful. So thanks for sharing that. Even though I didn't get to hear that public portion, we talked about it in my office. I want to just start by saying extend my congratulations to you and your family. You're going to do a great job. I thought our conversation in my office was great. We talked about a bunch of different things, and I think the American people deserve new leadership in this position and be focused on the right things. So I just want to rifle through a couple of questions. One of the things I think in refocusing the attention of the office, and one of the real challenges I think we've dealt with the last 4 years, is this obsession that the Biden administration has had with DEI. And Pete Buttigieg, for example, implemented this and was focused on this, and a month before the first national ground stop of the national of our national airspace since 9/11, he was busy renaming the air notice system to be more inclusive. I just think it's such a priority problem that we've had the last 4 years that I really welcome your leadership. And so how do you intend to tackle that, to sort of like refocus the department on, building big, beautiful roads, as President Trump says, right?
I appreciate the question. And this is, when we talk about safety, we're talking about getting on airplanes and flying through the airspace. So air traffic controllers and pilots and the mechanics and the machinists that build the planes, we want the hiring decisions to be based on merit. We want excellence. We want the best people in these jobs. Now, we can have a conversation and should have a conversation about what communities are we drawing from? Are we accessing the right communities, saying, hey, there's great opportunities at Boeing or one of the airlines or at air traffic control, accessing a lot of communities with the information about opportunities in these fields is something that I would commit to doing. But we can only hire the best and the brightest because everyone's safety is at stake.
It's on the line. And I talked last time we met under the FAA. There's the Office of Commercial Space Transportation, or AST, and it's responsible for licensing and regulating all the commercial rocket launch and reentry activities in the United States. It's a little-known agency. The only reason, quite frankly, that I'm aware of it is because I was the ranking member of the Space and Science Subcommittee the last 2 years and learned more than I ever thought I would ever learn coming into the Senate about how important and how critical this competition is we have with China in space. I mean, they're there in a real way. Everything, of course, is dual use for them. But I just want to make sure that we're on the same page to work together on these issues. They're only going to become more prominent, even though these agencies aren't, heard of in this sort of 21st century competition we have with the CCP.
I would welcome the opportunity to work with you. And you're right, we are in the heart and center of some of the biggest innovation spaces, and we're in direct competition with China.
And I may have the opportunity of a lifetime for you for the first big, beautiful airport in St. Louis. Lambert is going through this redesign, and I'd say that sort of tongue-in-cheek, but not really. You've heard a lot of those questions here today about rural airports and the redesigns and sort of updating, because a lot of them are outdated. And these are the kind of the core of the infrastructure projects you're talking about, right? This is sort of like core mission stuff.
Yes. The big projects that connect us, where we may not have had the right investments, that we've let crumble and age. I know 35W in Minnesota, Senator Klobuchar would talk about. The president has given me the directive to say, let's build these big projects that connect the country, that move our products from coast to coast. And again, that doesn't mean we forget about rural America. Rural America has to connect into this big infrastructure. But if that infrastructure that connects us doesn't exist or is crumbling, you can't serve those rural communities as well. I think in regard to airports, also making sure we upgrade. and have airports of the 21st century is important.
And one last comment is in my 10 seconds remaining here. It doesn't get talked about a lot, but EVs are heavier, a lot heavier than traditional vehicles, and that is there's going to be ramifications, whether, there's not much of a market for it right now, even with a mandate, and the mandate, I don't know what's gonna happen with it, you don't have to comment on that, but the reality is they're here to some degree, and our roads and our bridges and a lot of the infrastructure just wasn't built for that kind of weight. So I know it's something to sort of keep an eye on in your time, but congratulations to you and your family. You're gonna be great at this position. I have
Thank you,
full confidence.
Senator.
Yep.
I look forward to working with you.